let's see if this works. Does it say, is it, audio capture is working? Streaming doesn't seem to be overloaded. Here it goes again. You're very helpful. Is it working now?
No.
What's it? Oh, it's working. Right. I have a voice. This is good. Is the video working now, or do I have to throw myself out the fucking window? Okay, cool. Right. It's Paper Things, Season 5, Episode 4. OBS broke down yesterday, which meant we missed the show yesterday. And that's the other reason why I think the streaming settings were screwed up as well. So, yeah. Okay. So, it's a 4-paper show today. We're starting with The Guardian. We're going to get through The Guardian pretty quickly because we've just lost 11 minutes. The first part of the... works on laptop, not on phone app. What? You're looking at a phone app and it's working, aren't you? Yeah, okay. Person in the room's looking at a phone app and it's working. So, right. So the opening 10 pages of The Guardian are about Afghanistan, particularly the terror attack yesterday at Kabul airport. Yes, Chronotherm, important update on yesterday. Chloe was drinking and talking about men, and there was an Elvis coin in the mail. On page 11 of The Guardian, study links air pollution to more severe mental illness. I think that's probably not a surprise. GPs have been told to cut back hard on blood tests as supply of vials runs low. And why might that be? Partially the pandemic, but to a large extent to do with Brexit and Brexit trade issues. On pages 12 and 13, coverage of the Paralympics, and River Cottage chefs KEO Films sold off after going bust. That's Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall's television production company has collapsed, leaving behind millions of pounds of debt. Hilariously, one of the shows it produced was The War on Waste. You couldn't make it up, as Richard Littlejohn insists on saying, while making it up endlessly. On pages 14 and 15, confusion grows about vaccines for over 12s. Bank holiday crowds could fuel new surge in coronavirus cases, health officials warn. Blood clot risk is far higher from COVID than from vaccines. This is that story linked to the BBC presenter who died after having AstraZeneca jab. A lot of bad reporting on that, like it being really given a lot of heavy coverage without proper discussion of the levels of risk and how unlikely and rare that is. Moving on, there's a picture of the Queen has lent a gallery a picture painted of her by Lucian Freud that caused an uproar. The Guardian called it the finest royal portrait for 150 years. Others thought it made the Queen look like a rugby prop forward. It does have a slight vibe of rugby prop forwardness. Data protection laws to be revised in wake of Brexit. There's a lot that could be said about that, and I may be doing a newsletter about that. Female hummingbirds adopt male plumage to avoid body slamming. Is apparently what has been found by US researchers who captured more than 400 white-necked Jacobin hummingbirds in Panama. They found more than a quarter of females had similar ostentatious plumage, iridescent blue heads, bright white tails and white bellies as the males. Typically, female Jacobins tend to be duller in comparison, brandishing muted green, grey or black hues that allow them to blend into the environment. Researchers' work suggests that the unusual development indicates that flashy male-like garb help the females avoid aggressive male behaviours during feeding, such as pecking and body slamming. Cross-dressing birds, yeah. Certainly no analogies or metaphors to be drawn there. On page 23, horrendous story. Manchester City's Benjamin Mendy has been charged with 4 counts of rape. Of course, the case is now sub judice, so let's not be commenting any more on that. In the comment section of The Guardian, green politics is on the rise, but can it be consolidated, writes Andy Beckett, Who he? I don't know. Mary Fitzgerald says, Afghans who risked all for us are being left to a terrible fate. She is a director of information democracy at the Open Society Foundations. And Gabby Hinsliff says, Britain's key workers are at breaking points. On the front page of the Film and Music, it was the happiest time. The Beach Boys on their strange second act. Stunning Vanguard says, men suck in other species too. Yeah. Mark Kenosis loves a they-them hummingbird. They rank Adam Driver films in G2 Music and Film today. They say the number one of his films is Marriage Story. Absolutely is not. Marriage Story is the most divorced director film ever made. In the obituaries today, Ted Dexter, the England cricket captain who was known for his prolific run scoring, daring play and debonair style, and Carmel Biagio, campaigner for human rights and justice in Indonesia and the regions it controlled. Elsewhere in the news, teachers in Scotland get tools to embed anti-racism in school life. That sounds good to me. Public land used for golf courses in the capital could provide homes for 300,000 people. Golf is one of the most insanely land-intensive and wasteful sports going. It really is. In the world news, penal labour and beatings in North Korea may amount to torture, says UN. No shit. Poll shows Merkel has higher ratings in US and Europe than other leaders. It's because she is at least vaguely competent. Hong Kong police question, Tiananmen vigil organisers. Ardern resolute on strategy as outbreak grows. Vegemite yeast spread gets heritage listing. Taste of Australia's iconic food spread has long been divisive, but now the smell of Vegemite is being recognised in its own right. The City of Melbourne Council has recognised the heritage value of the odour in its description of a Port Melbourne factory where the yeast spread has long been manufactured. Navalny says he is subject to psychological violence in jail. Fertilizers banned near Spanish Lagoon after mass fish deaths. It's just like, there are stories every day where you think, sign of the apocalypse. In the financial news, fears for Liberty Steel jobs when furlough scheme ends. And Torsten Bell of the Resolution Foundation says COVID has made this country poorer and wishful thinking won't close the inequality gaps. Boy, I wish I could get a column just right stating the bleeding obvious. Also in the sport, another page on debonair Dexter, and on the back page of the sport, return to Manchester, City swoop for unsettled Ronaldo, and phenomenal route leads from front to punish India. Right, that's the Guardian. I mean, what, a 0, I guess. Not terribly objectionable, but quite boring, and some fairly decent journalism in there. A couple of animal stories. The Film and Music on Fridays is always at least worth a flick through. Right, now we're going to move on to The Sun. I'm going to do a speed round through The Sun, but I am going to return to Ali Ross's TV page, because there's a specific point in it that I want to talk about with you guys, generally, about how utterly vile he is. By the way, I hope you enjoy the new overlay, which I created yesterday while I was unable to do the show. Try and get something out of it. Slinker gives a tenth of a nice to The Guardian, and 0.69. Mark Kenosis in with a 1 for the Hummingbird. Remember, of course, the new development for Season 5, which is you can use your Herzogs to do stuff. If you look at the bottom of the chat window, it's a little picture of Werner Herzog. Click on the Herzog and it will give you options of stuff you can do, like make me drink or make me stand up properly. An option chosen thus far only once, I think, by my mother when she was watching the stream the other day on the surprise parent stream. Right, okay, so now we're going to move on to The Sun. Sun. So, of course, The Sun covers the story of the terror attack in Afghanistan in its typically reserved and tasteful way, with the headline, Hell on Earth. At the top of the page, they talk about Tom Cruise having his car stolen, or rather, his security man having his car stolen with hundreds of thousands of pounds of stuff inside. Top Gun is the headline they go for. It doesn't work, does it? Top Gun. Top Gun. Like, the Top Gun pun. No, it doesn't work. Obviously, they cover the charges for the Manchester City player, Mendy, who faces 4 charges of rape. Typically, as ever, the paper can't avoid using its reflexive description of any football player as an ace. I think when you're reporting on allegations of serious sexual assault and rape, that you could maybe drop the ace element. Person in the room has got new sound noise cancelling headphones, so he's just out of my eye line dancing around. It's very, very helpful. Stop doing that. On page 3, there isn't page 3, but is page 3. Sports Illustrated model Nina Agdal is pictured in underwear. The headline, Dressed to the Ninas. Again, a headline that doesn't work. Apparently in the film sequel of Downton Abbey, one of the characters is going to be killed. Why not go the whole hog and kill all of them? On pages 4 and 5, coverage of the events in Kabul. Many pretty grotesque pictures. The headline is Bloodbath in Kabul. Yeah, I know you can't hear me because you've got your noise-cancelling headphones on, but you can lip read. Yes. So that's fun. On page 7, Beyonce is apparently angry that she was that she wore a diamond for a Tiffany campaign, only to later be told that it is a blood diamond. She's only the 3rd person to wear it. Previous wearers: Mary Whitehouse in 1957, Audrey Hepburn in 1962, and Lady Gaga in 2019. So yeah, that's Tiffany's campaign. Extinction Rebellion, Vandals target the Queen is the headline on that story. On pages 8 and 9, heist fit for Cruise's own movie, Mission Not Impossible, Tom's car and bags stolen using high-tech scanner. On page 11, Nicole Kidman is in the latest issue of Marie Claire magazine, talking about how she wishes she had more children. A really horrible outfit. I said I was going to do this as a speed run, didn't I? Never mind. We no speed run today. We'll just get on with it. There's a typically pathetic Sun sex story, the Mediterranean diet. Apparently, you want to be having more extra virgin or olive oil. Ironic. Tomatoes, asparagus, crab, eggs, basil, saffron, ginger, oysters, prawns, almonds, chocolate, bananas, fenugreek, figs, pomegranate, watermelon, honey, yogurt, and beer if you want to have a better sex life. Don't eat them all at once. Mary Whitehouse. I don't think that's Mary Whitehouse. I don't think, but maybe someone can Google Mary Whitehouse and Tiffany's campaign and see. It doesn't really state in that story. Right, now here's the thing I want to talk about. So, I'm going to read this in full. It's a segment from Ali Ross, who is a reprehensible human being. Ali Ross's page in The Sun today. Now, remember, Katie Price has been on the front cover of The Sun twice this week with pictures of her bruised and battered face following an assault. Encoding, consider down... why is the encoding overloaded? Anyway, what?
Nothing. Just talking to my phone.
Okay, that's helpful. Kinu92, I know when I eat loads of eggs and prawns, I become irresistibly sexy. Yeah, indeed. So anyway, I'm going to read this full thing. The first person to wear the Tiffany diamond in public was American socialite Mrs. Mary Whitehouse. Okay, different Mary Whitehouse. Hey, SK the Crusader, good to see you. Looking forward to our stream tomorrow on one of the worst books I have ever read. Right, so here's what Ali Ross wrote. And as I say, remember that Katie Price has been on the front page of The Sun twice this week with pictures of her following a serious assault at her home. Katie's orbs a big flop, writes Ali Ross. First, it was Duncan James's aubergine, then came Megan McKenna's trout. But this week, Celebrity MasterChef really went for broke with the suggestive ingredients when they presented viewers with Katie Price's dumplings. Large unwieldy orbs with yellow stuff on the outside, which looked about as appetizing as, well, Katie Price's dumplings. Their appearance was so shocking, in fact, that Katie claimed, "I'm not even going to put these dumplings on a plate," which was a genuine first for the girl and probably meant they ended up in the same landfill site as her 34 double F Zeppelins. The worst possible start to the week, you'd think, but Celebrity MasterChef was clearly smitten with the idea. They got Katie to cook dumplings again on Tuesday night. Yeah. We are in the year 2021, and Ali Ross is writing this about a woman who only recently was the victim of a serious assault, and it would be grotesque misogyny even at the best of times. But imagine that. Yeah, and also, what tits has he been looking at to think that they look like Zeppelins? Anyway, Ali Ross is a piece of shit. We always knew he was a piece of shit, but this has truly confirmed it. And fuck the sun, as the Neon Lady says. On page 15, they cover the Paralympic medal wins. Also on that page, fears that there will be a shortage of lager in the pubs. So now you'll get Sun readers taking Brexit seriously. On pages 16 and 17, details of the ABBA reunion. Extra ABBA extravaganza is the headline. I guess that's not the worst headline in today's paper. There's a picture of a bear cub and a bear playing, which is nice. Phil Collins' daughter Lily went out wearing clothes. Rita Ora also wore some clothes. The government runs a big article about measures in schools later. Following on from the story that Spencer Elden is suing Nirvana for him being on the cover of Nevermind, they look at other people who were on the front covers of albums, including Peter Rowan, the younger brother of Derek Rowan, who was on the front of U2's album Boy in 1980. The Weathered Fisherman on the front of Standing on a Beach by The Cure from 1986. Adult actress Janie Lindemulder, who was on the front cover of Blink-182's 1999 record Enema of the State. She was jailed for 6 months in 2008 over tax issues and married an ex-convict from 2009 to 2010. Suede, the people kissing on the front of cover of Suede's debut album, the self-titled album Suede. It was a picture from a book called Stolen Glances, Lesbians Take Photographs, edited by Tessa Boffin and Jean Fraser. The shot was by US photographer T. Corrin. Suede frontman Brett Anderson said, "I chose it because of the ambiguity, but mostly the beauty." He wanted to use a full-length version of the image, which shows two naked women, one in a wheelchair, but T said no to protect their identity. She died of liver cancer in 2006, age 62. On the front cover of Houses of the Holy, siblings Stefan and Samantha Gates were on the front of Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. The male sibling Stefan said, "It's become a photo I have no control over. I feel like it's been stolen." Yeah. The Vietnam soldier on the front of Meat is Murder is taken from the documentary The Year of the Pig from 1967. U2 Boy, also the brother of one of the Virgin Prunes, a much better band. I don't know. I'm not sure about. I don't have a lot of time for either U2 or the Virgin Prunes, to be honest. Slinkmeier says, "I don't know what to think about the Spencer story. No one would know if it was him on the cover if he hadn't talked about it publicly and extensively for years." I agree. How are Nirvana getting sued and not the Scorpions for that album cover? Yeah, I agreed for just fuck face. There's a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger out cycling and he's wearing his socks pulled up. The headline from The Sun, "Kindergarten Socks." These headlines are so shit. Parents of a boy a guy who died trying to save a life by wading into the Thames to save someone. He was 20 years old. They say Jimmy is the hero of all heroes. If he'd lived, he'd have not have even mentioned the rescue. The Sun, man, it's just grotesque, isn't it? Yeah. In Fab Daily today, look fab at 50 for under £50. I won't stop breaking these style rules at 50, says fashion director Tracy Lee Sayer. Who cares? Today's £50 letter comes from Gordon Barnes. It comes as no surprise that there's a shortage of HGV drivers. I drove one of those trucks for many years. Regular company drivers are treated no better than errand boys for doing what is a highly skilled and responsible job. They're kept waiting at delivery depots for hours on end, with more drops still to do, and constantly phone while on the road. Until driving contracts and conditions are improved, today's young people will continue to stay well clear of heavy goods vehicles. Gordon, you are correct, mate. Philip Clark of Wakefield says, I recently retired after 46 years as a lorry driver. Now there is a shortage of drivers. Perhaps he encouraged them to. Many people blame Brexit, but the sun is right. Our economy is neither sustainable nor fair. The government is also right in stating UK residents should fill the HGV shortage. Our economy is neither sustainable nor fair. Imagine if we'd had a major political party who had said that and wanted to do other things. Yeah, that's right. The blind. Yeah, the details of things. The addition of the dollar bill implies he, the baby's a sex worker. The whole. I've read the legal papers, and they are the arguments from his legal team are insane. Anyway, Maisie Peters, her album gets 4 stars. The headline is. The album is called You Signed Up for This. There's a new film set in 1996 called Our Ladies. It's about a group of teenagers from a Catholic girls' school in the Highlands who are on a mission to have sex. Gets 3 stars. And in the sport, they're still trying to get you to buy a share in a horse. The horse is called Stroll On By. You get yourself a share for £60. Really dodgy, that stuff, I think. And in the sport, City get Messi and go for Ronaldo. Lionel Messi is finally heading to the Etihad after Manchester City drew Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. That's an annoying headline. And Harry double money. Tottenham 3, Pacos 0. Harry Kane won over the Tottenham fans with 2 goals to lead the club into the Europa Conference League group stage. Just over 24 hours after Kane confirmed he'll stay at Spurs as a move to Manchester City fell through. He struck a first half double. There you go. Classic Son, I think. A triple negative nice. Minus 69, 69, 69 from me. And now we stroll on to the Times. I'm going to do a roll call. Do use some Herzogs. Make me do stuff. I don't know what. Right, let's do the roll call while I also drink some tea. Today brought to you by the Alan Turing Institute. Okay, in the chat today, I am the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. Also here today is SK the Crusader in the Mod Squad. I'm sure will be streaming later, and we have a stream tomorrow where we are looking through one of the most cursed books I've read in a long time, which includes an essay imagining what it would be like if Priti Patel became Prime Minister. Also in the chat today, Academy Impossible, Another TT Viewer, Billy Wilder, Farage's Fuck Face, Friar Bentos, Ivyav, J. Paul's Kinyu 92, Chronotherm, Mark Kenosis, Revol 1285, Silinka Maya, Studying Fangirl, The Neon Lady, and The Royal Flush. Thank you for joining me on this technically cursed Friday edition. SK is on tonight from 6 p.m. in the Abyss again. Mark Kenosis gives the Sun minus 69 bombing raids against English coastal cities by Katie Price's tits. Slinker Maya gives it all the night minus 69s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, a septuple negative nice for the Katie Price story alone. Okay, let's move on to the Times, and then we will come on finally to the Daily Mail for the last episode of this week before a unavoidable week off next week as I'm in Northern Ireland, and then the show is back to a regular and steady schedule. So, front page of the Times, same story as you'll find in the other papers. Scores killed in Kabul attack. Embassy, but the big story from the Times is embassy left details of Afghan staff for Taliban to find. The thing about this story that it's like, okay, great, a decent scoop from Anthony Lloyd, but it absolutely does the Taliban's propaganda for it in this section, where he writes. Oh, actually, hang on, that might be. Yeah, hang on, I'll get to that. It's inside the paper. I read it online where it's all in one place. Okay, on pages 3 and 4, just direct news stories about that, and Taliban are once again banned music and women going out alone. On pages 4 and 5, so Lloyd writes about this, and he writes, hang on, I've got to find this. Ironically, it was the Taliban, as their clean white flag fluttered over the access checkpoint to Embassy Row, who presented themselves in a more professional manner in victory than Western governments had in retreat. Dressed in clean combat uniforms and looking more like a paramilitary security unit than an insurgent force, the team of fighters who escorted me around the abandoned diplomatic quarter alternated conversation between battlefield tales of fighting British and American troops and expressing their wish that foreign diplomats would return. Anthony Lloyd, standing for the Taliban. Moving on, pages 6 and 7. We must house a town's worth of refugees, says PM. We have the space. Fuck off with this shit. Right, moving on. This guy, Penn Farthing, is still continuing to talk about his animals. This time the story is bullying claims in row over pet rescue. The Defence Secretary has accused allies of former Marine of bullying MOD staff in a row over attempts to evacuate 173 cats and dogs from Kabul. Faraj's fuckface is right. The Taliban has learned Western liberals love the appearance of civility above all else. On page 9, sex study into whether size matters leaves much to be desired. Kat Lay writes, the age-old question of whether size matters has been tested in a scientific experiment for the first time, and the conclusion is that it might. Previous research into penis length and women's sexual pleasure has tended to rely on surveys. A new study from King's College London recruited 12 sexually active couples. The male partner was asked to reduce artificially the depth of penetration by placing a range of different silicone rings around the base of his erect penis. The female partner, who was not shown the size of the ring used, rated each encounter on a scale of 0 to 100 for sexual pleasure overall, and from intercourse alone, and in terms of emotional connection to her partner. David Veal, the author's lead study, said, we start with the premise that depth of penetration would not matter to most women. We found that reducing the depth of penetration by an inch led to a statistically meaningful drop in the amount of pleasure experienced. The longer the erect penis, the less likely the rings had an impact on sexual pleasure. There was, however, a range of individual responses, with a minority of women reporting that reducing the depth of penetration was more pleasurable on some occasions. The rings were designed either to make no difference or to reduce penetration by an inch. 1.5 inches and 2 inches. Participants were told to have sex either 3, 4 or 5 times with each ring. Veal said that the study was particularly relevant for men experiencing penile shortening due to health conditions. He added, we need to establish effective interventions so that these men do not seek non-evidence-based solutions like pills and lotions. Jesus. Fresh as fuckface. Love my ass off. They were grapefruiting. Taliban going for the IRA gentleman bombers niche. Yeah, pretty much. BBC defends its support for Stonewall programme. Done the right thing for once. That won't last. ABBA to stage magical comeback. That's because they're going to have holograms. Yeah, they only had 12 subjects. I mean, it's ridiculously small sample size. Manchester City footballer charged with 4 rapes and sexual assault. Horrendous. Woman hurt on Bear Grylls obstacle course knew the risks, says court after she lost her claim for compensation. On pages 12 and 13, Cabinet frustrated by scientists' caution on vaccinating children. They responsibly cover the death of the radio presenter with rare complications. I give them that credit. For some reason, interesting this, isn't it? The story of the fact that Boris Johnson was given £53,000 bridging loan to decorate the number 10 flat is stuck on page 15. This was Lord Brownlow of Sherlock Row, 57, who helped pay for the lavish refurbishment before later being repaid by Boris Johnson when they got caught out. They cover the hummingbird story. They poorly cover the claims that the government's going to change data protection law by making it all about cookies. They say new data rules to end irritation of pointless cookie consent pop-ups. But the thing is, we're going to have a lot of problems if we suddenly get out of GDPR, including Europe, causing all sorts of issues there, because they're not going to allow that to happen for the UK to arbitrarily exempt itself from international data protection laws. And there'll be issues with data transfer and stuff. It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. In the comments section, James Kirkup attacks GPs. This column is so bad that the British Medical Association had a rebuttal letter out within hours of the column dropping last night. Mike Atherton is in the notebook. It's whatever. Emma Duncan says we need more business in politics. What am I trying to think of the word now? Anyway, she's arguing that there should be more business people in politics. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous column from a ridiculous paper. Justin Webb, who apparently is part of the BBC and meant to be impartial, once again writing a column for the right wing, centre right at best, far right and at times, saying Biden believed in America first before Trump. Recursive Rose, the argument from Emma Duncan there, neoliberal state isn't neoliberal enough, which is sort of one of the main theses of the Times' output anyway. Mark Kenosis says penile shortening makes terrible pastry. Yeah, Stinkmeyer, Lord Brownose agreed on that one. Right, here are the birthdays. Bernard Langer, the 11-time senior major championship winning golfer, is 64. Barbara Bach, Lady Starkey, actress from Spy Who Loved Me and wife of Ringo Starr, is 74. Sir John Chisholm, the chairman of Genomics England, is 75. Gary Cohn, the vice chairman of IBM and economic advisor to President Trump until 2018, former president of Goldman Sachs, is 61. Peter Ebdon, the snooker player and world champion, is 51. Sian Edwards, the head of conducting at the Royal Academy of Music, music director of the English National Opera till 1995, is 62. Tom Ford, the fashion designer and film director, is 60. Lady Antonia Fraser, writer of Must You Go, My Life with Harold Pinter, amongst other things, is 89. Mike Golding, the yachtsman who held the solo record for sailing around the world westwards between 1994 and 2000, is 61. Lord Jerry Grimstone of Boscobel, the investment minister and chairman of Barclays Bank until 2019, Standard Life Aberdeen chairman until 2018, is 72. Sir Michael Holroyd, the biographer of Bernard Shaw and Lytton Strachey, is 86. Lieutenant General Sir Alistair Irwin, the president of the Royal British Legion in Scotland and adjutant general until 2005, is 73. Ashley Jackson, the field hockey player, 3-time Olympian and ice hockey player, 34. Saran Jones, the actress, is 43. Ralph Camp, the film producer, chief executive and chairman of Timeless Films, is 58. Sebastian Kurz, Chancellor of Austria, is 35. Jesus Christ, the Chancellor of Austria is younger than me. That's upsetting. Denise Lewis, the heptathlete and Olympic gold medalist, is 49. John Lloyd, the tennis player and former UK number 1, 67. Glenn Matlock, bass guitarist and Sex Pistols, is 65. Ed McKeever, the canoeist and Olympic gold medalist, is 38. Roland Murray, the fashion designer and designer for the Duchess of Sussex, is 60. Anne Murray, DBE, the mezzo-soprano, is 72. Professor Deborah Swallow, the Marit Rousing director, Courtauld Institute of Art, 73. Sir Mark Turner, the High Court judge, is 62. Lord William Vesty, landowner, that is a job, landowner and director of Vesty Food Group, is 38. Derek Warwick, the racing driver, is 67, and Jeanette Winterson, the writer, is 62. On this day in 1883, the volcano Krakatoa erupted, killing more than 30,000 people on neighbouring Indonesian islands. And the last word in this column today goes to Arthur O'Shaughnessy, the poet, in his poem Ode, 1874. We are the music makers, we are the dreamers of dreams, we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Happy birthday to Glenn Matlock, the relatably soft and gormless Sex Pistols, says Mark Kanosis. Yes, and the writer of most of their melodies. Mark Kanosis, I bet the Chancellor of Austria is a fancy little lad. Someone pull up a picture of him, see if we can see if he is in fact a fancy lad. In the world news, Israel is apparently holding back vital intelligence from America, so it says. Benjamin Netanyahu ordered Mossad to withhold crucial intelligence from the US. It emerged yesterday as President Biden was due to meet the new Israeli Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, for the first time. Relations soured in the final months of Netanyahu's premiership because of a disagreement with Biden about policy on Iran. Netanyahu is reported to have told Mossad and other Israeli agencies to stem the flow of intelligence to Washington because of his deep distrust of Biden's Middle East agenda. Yesterday's scheduled meeting was postponed until today after the attacks in Kabul. Serious issues in Lebanon as a fuel crisis means hospitals run on empty. Russia forges new routes to secure Arctic dominance. A giant icebreaker ship, Lenin, sits in the corner of the port of Murmansk, the biggest city in the Arctic Circle. From 1959 to 1989, the colossal vessel accompanied thousands of ships through more than 500,000 miles of thick ice. A lot has changed since the Lenin's heyday. As climate change accelerates for formidable polar conditions, the Lenin was built to withstand a vanishing. The Arctic is warming up more than twice as fast as the rest of the planet, and scientists say that by 2050, much of the region will be ice-free in summer. Russia's meteorological agency said last year that the ice cover on the Arctic sea route had reached a record low. For Russia, the melting ice sheets bring new opportunities for lucrative commercial shipping along the northern sea route, a passageway from northern Europe to Asia that the Kremlin is touting as faster than the Suez Canal. Bobby Kennedy, assassin on path to freedom after 53 years in jail. Sirhan, 77, spent 53 years in San Diego in jail after his death sentence was reduced to life with the possibility of parole when California abolished capital punishment. He has lost 15 previous parole requests, but this time prosecutors aren't going to oppose the parole request. Rachel Maddow has had a increase of has had her compensation package increased to $30 million a year, and she is expected to host the weekly show that broadcasts about 30 times a year, according to the Daily Beast website, at $1 million per episode. It said Maddow was adamant that she should have more time off to spend with her family. It's also expected she will appear on other MSNBC shows, NBC shows, as well as spin-offs such as documentary and podcasts. Well, she's a well-known name for them and draws an audience. It's not unsurprising. Police are to stop patrolling secondary schools in a county of the eastern US state of Maryland after complaints that Black, Latino, and disabled pupils were being unfairly targeted. Yeah, I'd say they were. Here's an amazing picture of a lion cub playing up on its father's head. Mark Kanosis hates Rachel Maddow so much. Well, she's up there with Keith Olbermann for me in terms of, bland, glib libs. Had a bad day waiting tables. Here's a €4,000 tip. A businessman travelled more than 620 miles to deliver a €4,000 thank you to restaurant staff after they were criticised by another customer for adding a 10% tip to his lavish meal. Raul Castaneda said he travelled from Barcelona to Marbella in southern Spain to leave his generous tip, matching the entire bill Enrique Morris was given last month after lunching with 8 friends on Wagyu beef burgers and €1,000 bottles of champagne. Castaneda, whose company campaigns against financial injustice, told the news agency EFE that he had wanted to meet the waiting staff in person. He said that about 15 worked there and that each of them would have gone home with an extra €270 in their pocket. He asked the restaurant to give him the same table at which Morris had eaten. Take note, for the same amount you paid for the meal, I've done the same and left a tip for the same waiters you angered. By the way, very good service, he wrote on Instagram, adding the hashtag respect to waiters. Morris, a securities day trader, had shared his bill on social media and complained about the service charge, saying that an angry waiter had run after his party, asked if they were going to pay a tip. The post went viral and many accused Morris of a life of excess. Marbella is a new Ibiza, rip off merchants everywhere, he wrote. Tipping culture is frugal in Spain and a 10% service charge is rare. Most customers leave a tip of a few euros or nothing at all, even for large bills. Castaneda spent euro more than Morris before the tip, and he even topped him on champagne consumption, drinking 3 bottles of Moet and Chandon. He has built a reputation as a crusader for just causes, having set up a law firm to combat fraud after he said his previous company was ripped off by online credit provider. Well, that sounds kind of a good story, I guess. In the arts, story of Let It Be. Giles Martin on how his father helped to make a Beatles masterpiece. Giles Martin still tweaking with those albums rather than, doing something new. The Morris chap should be thrown into the ocean, says Mark Canosis. Agreed. Trial presents Silicon Valley's fallen star with her biggest test. This is the coverage of the Theranos founder, Elizabeth Holmes. She's on stage in New York alongside Bill Clinton a few years ago. Don't worry about the future, the former president assured the audience. We're in good hands. Yes, that's Bill Clinton. Pal to Jeffrey Epstein, so I'm sure he knew what he was talking about. In Satnam Sanghera's column today, you can't run your family like a business despite what experts like to think. I guess that's kind of a funny premise for a column. Get wise or get eaten, grocers are warned. Established food retailers are at risk of cannibalization of their profits by rapid delivery companies such as Get Here and Wheezy. They fail to respond to the competition, analysts have warned. No, because what's happening here again is the same thing as happened with Uber. These companies are being massively propped up by venture capital to run businesses that are not profitable and which exploit their workers. Nobody needs food to appear like this. Mark, he's Phil Spector's son. No, he's not Phil Spector's son. Customers are willing to spend about 20% more for groceries delivered rapidly than they pay in convenience stores, researchers found. This stuff is what will happen is they destroy the local convenience stores and then they ratchet up the prices. That's the plan. And also they treat their couriers appallingly. Just if you are able to, just walk and get food. Or order food from one of the largest supermarkets, which are at least better regulated. Jesus, not that they're great either. Lordstown turns to motor sector veteran as new boss. For fans of Trash Future, as I am, you'll be happy to learn that the completely ridiculous Lordstown Motors is now brought in a new... A motor industry veteran who worked in the past for Carl Icahn, the renowned investor overseeing Icahn Enterprises' automotive aftermarket service and parts distribution business. This is Daniel Ninivagi. He's not gonna be able to fix Lordstown because the endurance pickup truck is quite patently a scam. Avon Protection came under fire as analysts warn that the maker of gas masks and body armour suits cannot afford any setbacks with its bulletproof vest order for the US Army. Yeah. They're trying to sell you cheap shelving, and in the obituaries, Ted Dexter is the main obit. Robert Calasso, the polymath and publisher who knew a half a dozen languages, including Sanskrit, and became one of Italy's leading intellectuals, has died. He was 80. You could get yourself 2 horribly embroidered tops for £60, available in rose, sand, or light blue. They're trying to advertise Times Radio. Don't listen to it. I'll listen to it for you. In the sport, Somers Newton ousted Idle Simmons to take gold. Tough start as Tsitsipas lies in wait for Murray. Refreshed Hamilton ready for fierce battle in the F1. Has Southgate learnt a harsh lesson, says Henry Winter, about the England squad. Tottenham 3, Pacos de Ferreira 0. There's a match report on that. And on the back page of the sport, City in talks with Ronaldo. Brilliant route punishes India, and Southgate gets anti-vax abuse. That is the Times. Give me your scores for that. I mean, come on. It wasn't great, was it? There was an animal picture, so I guess I'll give it a minus 69. A minus 68-69. Okay, we come now to the mail, which I'm going to have to try and bosh through at a relatively speedy lick since we had those tech problems at the start of the show. And now I've been giving you content warnings all day, but the Mail goes for the most grotesque and zoomed in picture of the aftermath of the terror attack. So, you know, be aware of that. Senkmeyer in with the double negative nice for the Times. Right, here we go. So front page, tragic price of surrender. And the full front page there is about the attack in Kabul. On page 3, Lawrence Fox drags kids into anti-vax row. He says he'll ban his and Billy's boys from school because he fears they'll have COVID jab without his permission. I'd say there's a legal case upcoming there. Thinking of buying a puppy? Sorry, but lockdowns put the price up to $1,500. How about you rescue a dog instead? Mark Kanosis rates the Times minus 69 dainty madeleines for when the fancy little Chancellor of Austria desires a treat. On pages 4 and 5, more coverage of the Kabul terror attack. Of course, the Daily Mail puts in lots of really unnecessary photos. On pages 6 and 7, they have a map showing where the attacks happened. On pages 8 and 9, heaven and hell. 1,400 evacuees made it out. Translator, his wife was too ill to battle through the airport crush and joined him here. On pages 10 and 11, toxic battle of Noah's Ark. It's a bizarre sideshow to the horror. An ex-Marine fighting to evacuate pets saved by charity linked to a friend of the PM's wife versus the Defense Secretary who yesterday found the time to savage the operation on Twitter. So whose side are you on? I mean, if they could both lose, I'd be delighted. On page 13, they have the same pictures of Nicole Kidman as the other papers. And popular BBC radio host sidelined by religion of diversity is the claim. The BBC has angered staff after dumping much-loved presenters from their slots on its biggest local radio stations in a move blamed on the religion of diversity. A schedule refresh to be announced imminently for Radio London will see 2 of its most popular hosts replaced in their slots by more diverse talent. God forbid that Robert Elms have to move from a show that he's been on for such a long time. Same with Joe Good. Neither of these people are losing their spots on the station. They're just being moved to different parts of the schedule. On page 15, they talk about Kristen Stewart in the new Diana film Spencer. She has, it seems from the trailer at least, got the accent pretty well down. On page 14, they cover the Boris Johnson flat story. Flat refurb cost at least £52,000. On pages 16 and 17, 12-year-olds could get jab at school. And what do the Daily Mail do? Well, of course, they run the death of BBC star as a scare story in the middle of that page. Death of BBC star first to be officially linked to vaccine. It's extremely rare, but do they say that? No, not in a prominent way. On page 19, Sian Boyle writes, she's the way-out aristocrat who drilled a hole in her own head and spent years dabbling in every psychedelic drug imaginable. But Lady Amanda Fielding has turned it all into a healthcare revolution worth £58 million. What do you think she looks like? Yes, you guessed correctly. Slinkmar, you forget, Mick, the slightest inconvenience to a white man is outrage-worthy. Yeah, seems to be the case, yeah. On page 21, blood test cancelled as NHS runs out of tubes. Why might there be these shortages? Hard to say. Certainly wouldn't... I'd just be a horrible Ramona if I mentioned Brexit again. Page 25, they cover the story of Benjamin Mendy, who has been accused of 4 rapes. On pages 26 and 27, I shit you not, Jan Noir reviews various productions of Cinderella on the basis of how woke they are. The headline, how cinders broke the glass slipper ceiling. Jesus Christ. Mark Kanosis says Lady Amanda Fielding rules. Okay, today, here's the On This Day column. On this day, in August 27th, 1970, the Daily Mail wrote, Concorde's supersonic flight over Britain for the first time next Tuesday might cause damage to buildings with loose plaster or a faulty window, the Ministry of Technology warned yesterday. The flight will be at 40,000 feet and faster than 1,100 miles per hour, lower than its planned cruising rate or its height when in service. August 27th, 1980, the Daily Mail wrote, action is being taken to stop cowboy firms from cashing in on the growing trade in nuclear fallout shelters. It's feared that their products may be so thin and poorly constructed that they will be useless in the event of an attack. Now the Home Office is drawing up a list of 5 approved types, ranging from a £1,200 shelter, similar to the Morrison type of the last war, to a £6,000 underground fortress. Sankamaya, Jan Wan, he's getting fucking C, agreed. Born on this day, C.S. Forrester, the Cairo-born English novelist, wrote the Horatio Hornblower series, turned into a film starring Gregory Peck and a hit ITV adaptation. He died in 1966. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1908 to 1973, 36th US president who took office after JFK's assassination, and famously, you can find the clip on YouTube, liked to talk a lot about his penis, and often used it to intimidate other senators while a powerful figure in the Senate by wanging it out at the urinals next to them. I'm currently listening to a 35-hour-long one of the four-part biography of Lyndon B. Johnson. They don't talk about the hog as much as I was expecting. On August 27th in 1979, 18 British soldiers were killed and more than 20 seriously injured in an attack at Warren Point, Northern Ireland, in the deadliest attack on the British Army during the Troubles. And in 1990, the BBC launched Radio 5, its first new radio station since 1967. Quote of the day comes from Anne Baxter, the US actress who died in 1985. She said, "Best to have failure happen early. It wakes up the phoenix bird in you." Joke of the day. What did the laundry owner say to the impatient customer? Keep your shirt on. Yeah. Chronotherm. Horatio Hornblower is a porn name. Absolutely, totally a porn name. Harry Mount writes a double-page spread about how eco-zealot councils are choking civic pride by allowing growth in hedgerows and green areas. Mark Kenosis, Mick at the recording studio, they're recording the LVG audiobook, banging on the glass of the control booth, chanting, "Hog, hog, hog." Absolutely, more hog. There should be a whole chapter on its hog-based diplomacy. On page 33, Lily Collins went out wearing clothes and a haircut and a slightly quiffish hairdo, so they compare her to John Travolta in Grease. Sabotage fears over shopper injecting blood into ready meals. Shoppers were urged to throw away food yesterday after a man was arrested for allegedly injecting products with a mystery substance. A rare emergency alert over food brought at 3 West London supermarkets was issued after fears that products could have been contaminated with blood. Okay, that's going to be in my nightmares. Studying Fangirl says, "Guess my mental breakdown at 18 was a blessing in disguise." Rolls eyes. Yeah, I mean, I think we all. I certainly feel that, multiple bouts of depression have been really fun. Jan Noir in her column writes, "Lucky lords and the leg up few celeb children can resist." It's always a bit fucking cheap of the Daily Mail to talk about nepotism, or any British newspaper to talk about nepotism, because, for instance, Henry Deeds is a part of a dynasty of journalists, as is Sophia Money Coots, who also appears occasionally in the Daily Mail and often in the Telegraph. And of course you've got Giles Corrin, etc., etc., etc. Hugo Rifkin, all these people who have benefited from some level of nepotism. On page 36, Ghislaine used a cart to barricade prison door. Ghislaine Maxwell tried to barricade herself in a prison room, prosecutors have claimed. They say Jeffrey Epstein's alleged madam created a security threat by using cart of legal documents to block the door. Her actions were said to have prevented guards from entering the video conference room. I still feel they're gearing up to reveal to us the shock news that that Ghislaine Maxwell has not got as strong a hyaloid bone as they previously thought. Delicious mustard. Right, going on through this. More government adverts about going back to school. Has China created a sonic supergun? No, is the answer. In the same way as has Russia created a sonic supergun? There's a new version of Candyman out, gets 4 stars. The film Our Ladies gets 3 stars from the Daily Mail. The Last Bus gets 3 stars. And The Pebble and the Boy gets 2 stars. Church's new album gets 4 stars. Maisie Peters' record gets 3 stars. And Diane Warren, The Cave Sessions, gets 3 stars. In the books, they have a review of Barca, the inside story of Barca, the inside story of the world's greatest football club. They have a book about the Josiah Wedgwood and the transformation of Britain. They claim he was the Steve Jobs of pottery. Ridiculous. Slinky Meyer, they're definitely making her seem unstable. You really want to see that Candyman? It looks amazing. Yeah, do you know, I'm not sure I've ever seen the original Candyman. I remember, like, it got talked about a lot when I was at school, but I don't think I ever actually saw it. Today's pick of the day in the telly is Strictly Amy, Crohn's and Me. And also they recommend Ian Hislop's Trains That Changed the World. A very Channel 5 show, if ever there was one. Christopher Stevens in the TV reviews. 16, Class of 2021, gets 4 stars. And Ambulance also gets 4 stars. Are you saying what? That I've never seen Candyman? I will watch Candyman. I will watch... What's that?
Will you though?
I will. I'll watch Candyman.
You'll hide behind the sofa.
But the thing is, like, you say Candyman a number of times, right? And then the Candyman appears, right?
It's 5.
Okay. So it's like Bloody Mary, but with, like, a bee-faced man.
Has he got bees for a face?
I feel like there's bees involved. Is there bees involved? I've never seen it. I don't...
Bees.
Yeah, but like a bee... Like, I think he, like, spits bees or something. Mark Canosa says, original Candyman is amazing, as the story it's based on. Slinkerman says, you need to rectify that and watch the original Candyman. Okay, during my week off stream, I will watch Candyman and I will come back.
You will hide behind the sofa or me. You're not good with horror.
It's not that I'm scared, I just find it, like, I don't understand why I would upset myself.
I know, I agree. I'm the same.
Right, anyway, in the cartoons today, Garfield is on a date with his girlfriend and eats all the fries to himself. I'm pro that. Like, you know, if you want fries, buy your own fries. In Chloe and Co, no Chloe today, but the two men are talking about women sat down and drinking. And in Fred Bassett, they're still on holiday and it's raining a lot, so they're stuck in their chalet. Slinkermeyer says there are indeed bees. Well, there you go. So I sort of know something about it. Right, today, here are the terrible poems. Rhyme for Our Time with apologies to ABBA from I.G. Fenner. I.G. Fenner again. I.G. Fenner contributes poems to this often and must be stopped. I.G. Fenner, you must be stopped. Right, so, gimme, 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 a man who loves Marmite. Won't somebody out there kindly answer my plea? I'll just sit here hoping some guy with a car might drive round here for Marmite toast and afternoon tea. None of my old exes were that keen on Marmite, said they didn't like it so they just had to go. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting alone in the starlight, dreaming of a Marmite lover I've yet to know. Just going to break in here to say, are we concerned that I.G. Fenner coats herself in Marmite in some kind of debased Marmite sexual frenzy? Because that's the impression I'm getting from this. So gimme, 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 a man who loves Marmite. You know the kind of person who I'm now looking for. If I'm lucky, some guy with good looks and great charm might make my dreams come true, and we'll eat Marmite galore. So that's I.G. Fenner in New Milton, Hampshire. Be aware. There's a woman smeared with Marmite. Chronotherm, Chloe drinking count, 4 out of 4. Chloe not present in the cartoon. Yeah. And then the limerick for today comes from Bob Woodland of Dorset. Everyone's passed, and what's more, no one's upset, which makes sure that, though it sounds loony, they're all off to uni if they can all fit through the door. Right, the straight to the point letters today come from Mick Brigstock, who says, we expect ministers to have such good judgment they don't have to be wise after the event. S. Holland says, hopefully the disruption caused by Extinction Rebellion will not affect London Mayor Sadiq Khan's dog-walking vehicle convoy. This guy lives in Worcestershire. Who gives a fuck, man? You don't even live in London. The Neon Lady says, I resent being made aware that Marmite fetishists exist. Fraud's Fuckface says, you never know, Marmite might go well with cum. This is the kind of question we consider on this stream. It just has to be talked about. Starting Fangas says, serious yeast infection vibes, 100%. And the last of the... more on the straight to the point letters. Lynn Justins of London NW8 says, with Ian Botham going to Australia as trade envoy, can we expect Shane Warne in return? And D. Spillane of Kent says, win or lose, every member of our Paralympics team should be honoured with an MBE. Vincent Hefter, a frequently seen name in the Daily Mail letters page, says, Charlie Watts, so unassuming, So gifted. Imagine making the effort to write 6 words and send them into the Daily Mail. I mean, fair dues. He's at least kept it succinct. Today's recipe is runner beans, chorizo, and almonds, which honestly just sounds like that's been generated from a random word generator. They want you to go on a cruise of South America and the Antarctic. They're trying to get you into retirement living. Okay, here we. This. I want to get this, and person in the room is in no way going to allow me to get this. It is a 40th anniversary edition AC/DC Back in Black 25th of July 1980 chronograph watch. It is one of the ugliest things I have ever seen. Look at this. This is horrendous. This could be mine for £150.
No.
For just £150, this could be mine. Look at that. I mean, it's all class. Hell yes, says Mark Kenosis. I knew you'd back me on the AC/DC watch. Moving on.
I can't hear you.
In the Money Mail, they reviewed the new electric VW camper, which looks pretty cool. And in the sport, Slingermeyer is howling about the watch. Welcome to Manchester. City hold shock talks to snap up United legend Ronaldo. City star Mendy is charged with rape. And Tonderful. Phenomenal route hits another century as England dominate India in the 3rd test. Mark Kenosis says, I'd buy it if it had little cannons that fired on the hour. That would be amazing. Right, so that is the Daily Mail. Minus quadruple negative nice for many reasons. But obviously 10 million points for the AC/DC watch, which I 100% will definitely buy. Definitely going to buy that. The brilliant thing about a person in the room having the noise-cancelling headphones now is I can tell you all about how I'm going to buy the AC/DC watch. She can't hear me, so she just sat there and she does it. I'm definitely going to buy the AC/DC watch, and that's okay, isn't it? I trust your silence is agreement. I'll take your silence as agreement about that. Yeah, there you go. Definitely can have the watch. Anyway, that is the Daily Mail. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry about the technical foul-ups at the start of the show, and thank you for sticking by me. I am now going to be off for the next week, although you can catch me tomorrow on SK the Crusader's stream, where we'll be looking at one of the worst books I've ever read. Also, how will she know when to shout no coins? I'm going to buy all the coins, like literally all the coins. Every coin I'm going to buy. Great, again, perfectly allowed to do that. So anyway, if you're not, the newsletter will be continuing next week. So if you're not a subscriber to the newsletter, do join that. Do sign up for that. Sorry, you sign up for free, and then if you like it, you could upgrade to paid if you want to help me out with that. BrokenBottleBoy.substack.com. Mark Kenosis saw a Motorhead themed pickup truck yesterday. Incredible. And also, if you don't want to subscribe to the show but want to help out with keeping the show going, chuck some coins into the paper fund. PayPal.me/Conquest of the Useless. It's been a bit light recently, but when people do contribute to that, it helps a lot. It's good in just funding the many papers and magazines that we look at on this show. So yes, I am gone all of next week, but then after that, the season 5 will run as before. Slinkermeyer rated the Daily Mail a quadruple negative nice. Time for just a quick roll call, and then we're out. So yeah, I am the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. SK the Crusader is streaming from 6 o'clock tonight. He's back in the abyss, and then tomorrow night he and I are reviewing the book What If Priti Patel was Prime Minister, and other horrible things that haven't happened but might have happened. Also in the chat, Academy Impossible, another TT viewer, Antonio Jastrab, Ashflats McNulty, Aiton, Billy Wilder, Commander Root, Farage's Fuckface, Hot Girl from Oregon, J-Pulse, Chronother, Mark Kenosis, Raidens, Recursive Rose, Revol 1285, Selinka Meyer. Do follow Selinka on Instagram and see her photography. It is excellent. Studying Fangirl, again, you should be following her on Twitch. Always does good streams, and we will be doing a special Studying Fangirl guest stream soon, reviewing some terrible Israeli papers. Also, thank you for being here, the Neon Lady and the Royal Flush. Yes, so I will be back a week on Monday at the usual time. Obviously, I will let you know when that's happening. And if you are not yet a member of the Discord, get involved. And if you are a member, start sharing links. Throw in terrible things that you've read so that we can all share in the pain. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching this. The show goes up every day after I do it live. Do like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. It really helps. And I will see you all on Monday. But do tune in tomorrow for SK's and my review of a truly, truly cursed book. Have a good one all. Bye-bye.